A single day. 24 hours in the relentless march of time. Yet, within that small window, history can pivot, destinies can diverge, and the very story of humanity can be woven with threads of both profound tragedy and transcendent triumph. December 6th is one of those days, a fulcrum point in our past. It is a date that has witnessed the birth of a nation from the ashes of empire and the obliteration of a city in a cataclysm of fire. It has codified freedom into law and stood as the final silent breath before the world plunged into war. This is the story of a day where the best and worst of humanity were laid bare. Our story begins in 1917. The Great War rages across Europe, while the Russian Empire, the prison of nations, crumbles from within. In the Grand Duchy of Finland, a territory under Russian control for over a century, the winds of change are howling. For decades, a quiet but fierce national identity had been cultivated in its language, its art, and its unyielding spirit, known as Sisu. The Bolshevik Revolution in October was the final spark. You have to understand the sheer precarity of that moment. Declaring independence was an audacious gamble. The Bolsheviks were scrambling to consolidate power. Germany was still a formidable military force on their doorstep, and Finland itself was deeply fractured politically. It wasn't just about signing a piece of paper. It was a leap into an abyss with no guarantee of a safe landing. It was an assertion of sovereignty in the face of complete chaos. On December 6, 1917, the Finnish parliament took that leap. By a vote of 100 to 88, they adopted the declaration, severing ties with Russia and proclaiming Finland a sovereign nation. It was a moment of pure, unadulterated triumph, the culmination of generations of yearning. But this birth was not without pain. A brutal civil war would soon follow. Yet, the foundation laid on this day would prove resilient, creating a bastion of democracy and independence on the edge of a turbulent continent. But as Finland's star was rising on December 6, 1917, half a world away, another fate was being sealed in fire and shockwave. Halifax, Nova Scotia was a critical wartime port, a nexus for convoys carrying troops and supplies to the European front. Its harbor was a chaotic theater of maritime traffic. On this particular morning, the French cargo ship SS Mont Blanc, laden with a lethally volatile cargo of picric acid, TNT, and gun cotton, collided with the Norwegian vessel, the SS Imo. The initial collision was minor, but it started a fire on the Mont Blanc's deck. The crew, knowing the catastrophe that was imminent, abandoned ship, but their warnings were lost in the noise of the busy port. For nearly 20 minutes, the ship burned, drifting towards the shore, an apocalyptic spectacle for the unknowing crowds gathering to watch. It was the ultimate Trojan horse. The citizens of Halifax saw a ship fire, a common enough sight. They had no idea they were looking at nearly 3 kilotons of high explosives. The resulting detonation was the largest man-made explosion in history before the atomic bomb. It vaporized the Mont Blanc, triggered a tsunami, and flattened over 2 square kilometers of the city in an instant. The blast killed approximately 2,000 people and injured 9,000 more. A blizzard that struck the next day hampered rescue efforts, entombing the devastated city in ice and snow. On the very day one nation celebrated its birth, an entire city was brought to its knees, a chilling juxtaposition of creation and destruction, bound together by the arbitrary nature of a single date. If December 6th can hold both Genesis and Apocalypse, it can also represent a moral reckoning. Decades earlier, on December 6, 1865, the United States took a monumental step towards reconciling with its original sin. On this day, Georgia became the 27th state to ratify the 13th Amendment to the Constitution. With Georgia's vote, the required 3/4 majority was achieved. The amendment was officially adopted, and the institution of chattel slavery, which had defined and defiled the nation for 246 years, was formally and irrevocably abolished. The Emancipation Proclamation had been a crucial wartime measure, but the 13th Amendment etched this freedom into the nation's foundational document. This was not an end, but a beginning. The road to true equality would be fraught with immense struggle, the failures of Reconstruction, the evils of Jim Crow, but the constitutional question of slavery was settled. The amendment provided the legal bedrock upon which the entire civil rights movement would later be built. It was a profound statement of principle, even if the practice would take another century to even begin to catch up. Now let's jump forward in time again, to the eve of infamy. Tragedy often arrives unannounced, but sometimes its approach is preceded by a day of deafening silence, of missed signals and final fateful maneuvers. December 6, 1941 was such a day. In the Pacific, the Japanese carrier strike force, maintaining strict radio silence, was bearing down on Hawaii, its objective now just hours away. In Washington, American intelligence had deciphered the majority of a 14-part Japanese message, which made it clear that diplomatic relations were to be severed. It was a declaration of intent, if not an outright declaration of war. President Franklin D. Roosevelt, upon reading the first 13 parts, famously remarked, "This means war." The tragedy of December 6, 1941 is one of near misses. An Army intelligence officer's warning to Hawaii was sent via commercial telegraph instead of the more immediate military channels and was thus delayed. The final, critical part of the Japanese message, instructing their embassy to deliver the note just before the planned attack, wasn't decoded until the morning of the 7th. Every moment of that Saturday was a lost opportunity to prepare for the blow that was about to fall. And so, on December 6th, the sun set on an America still at peace, on a naval base blissfully unaware. It was the final day of an old world. The next dawn would bring fire from the sky and thrust the United States into a global conflict that would redefine the 20th century. A day on the calendar is just a container. What fills it is the spectrum of human endeavor. December 6th shows us that history is not a linear progression, but a complex, often contradictory tapestry. On the same day, a nation can be born of sheer will, while a city is erased by sheer accident. A society can legally enshrine a noble principle of freedom, while another stands on the precipice of a devastating assault. These events are not isolated footnotes. The resilience of Finland shaped the geopolitics of Northern Europe. The Halifax explosion led to revolutionary changes in emergency management. The 13th Amendment remains a cornerstone of the fight for justice. And the attack on Pearl Harbor created the world we inhabit today. December 6th reminds us that within any given moment, the potential for both our greatest triumphs and our most profound failures exists simultaneously. It is a testament to the fragility of peace, the tenacity of the human spirit, and the enduring power of a single day to echo through time. Thanks for watching. If you found this journey through history interesting, be sure to like this video and subscribe for more stories behind the dates. See you next time.